Welcome to the Barn Time podcast / music social hour. We have a special evening for you guys, and we're so stoked to be here. Kaye and I will be your hosts, and we have Al Howard as our special guest, and we have Tim McNally and Kaye here to do some music and amongst other things. So, Al, would you take it away for us?
I love America. Let me repeat this. I love America. I love hair in the breeze, 70 degrees, palm trees, and SD. I love pokies and OB. I love this freedom that I breathe, this life that I lead. I love thrift stores and vinyl archaeology, digging in crates for 70s gems, the wind through my window, a pen in my afro. I love getting drenched by sound showers, the power of Jimi Hendrix ripping purple haze 75 miles per hour down this twisting highway. When the sun greets the day until it sinks into waves, I love the people, all shades of skin, the true beauties within. I love this world like my kin. I'll turn enemies to friends. I love the music that breathes with its kick drum heartbeat when it speaks in the evening, weaving the fabric that holds us together through all kinds of weather. I love the scenery evolving on into the ever. The crimson canyons layered with mystery and history, the red rocks reminding me of ancient mystic entities, the clear blue waters of a mountain stream running underneath massive aged sequoia trees, the bayou-soaked humidity, the southeast 90 degrees and sticky like molasses. I spent years on this road with rose-tinted sunglasses, mapping the vastness which exists in my heart. I love the full moon above which illuminates the dark. I love Central Park and its rusted fall bloom, blooming flowers in June and extensive sand dunes. I love being in tune, surrendering to the flow of surroundings, astounding pounding visuals in the peripheral. I love the miracles which cooperate to make this exist. It's bliss when I'm kissed by these waves of sensation, inhaling this chaos to exhale liberation. I love underground hip-hop exploring equations, like listening to Black Star, my burgundy car race here alone in my Mission Hills home. I love the quantum truth speakers, youth teachers, young urban preachers with abstract features like Aesop Rock on orthodox style, reminded of miles of instrumentation, miles of Davis blowing oasis, blowing desolation, just blowing out pavement. I love Abby Hoffman and his Woodstock Nation. I love America. Elegant like Ellington, abstract as Eiler, it's laughing hysterically at old Richard Pryor. America is Coltrane, it is pleasure and plain. It's a high school memory of Prince Purple Rain. America is Mingus, Guthrie, Langston Hughes. America is barbecue. America is blues. America is city lights. America is monk. America is rock and roll, rhythm and funk. Saxophone solos so full of soul like Sly Stone's family with so many tolls. There's so Gil Scott Heron on the roof reading poems. It's knowing the side streets and the quickest route home. It's Sam Cooke with the gospel giving me chills. It's a young Aretha Franklin making time stand still. It's Afrocentrism, black culture with wisdom. It's late 60s hippies, no belief in a system. It's Berkeley students and Panthers hand in hand on a mission. It's the moment when Maya told me why Cage Bird sings. It's the time Jane's addiction said all now with rings. It's Henry David Thoreau and civil disobedience. It's your grandmother's cooking with the secret ingredients. It's an Amanda Zilla action thriller, silent killer with a violent filter is being blazed on the PCH winding road on a summer day. It's me adjusting the level and raising the treble on a Murder City Devil CD going 60 on a meandering road as the cold wind blows through my windows around Lake Tahoe on the way home from the show, arriving in the nick of time. It's a nick or a dime in Washington Square Park. It's a freestyle rhyme in the back parking lot. It's the drum circle's echo just before the dark. It's the brush and the paper, the mother and father of art. It's the rhythm that's pounding within all our hearts that are changing, steadily beating and changing like seasons. I pledge allegiance to region and allegiance to equals, not allegiance to these demons deceiving our people. As we live through this golden age of misinformation, state-run media is on the local station, pandemic hits home, president takes a vacation to make Twitter rants about his victimization, to work on his golf swing while a nation can't breathe, to talk about ratings while a nation can't grieve, to push fake cures until a nation drinks bleach. Alternative facts fill an abrasive blank speech. Spin the wheel of misfortune brought to you by climate change. Did you get California flames or New Orleans hurricanes and the economy is broken unless your occupation is digging graves for the greatest generation? And today we've managed to mock education as if knowledge were flaw, and I'm still in awe of a criminal giving me lectures on law and order. When chaos and disorder is all this man knows, caging children at the border is how low we will go. But this was just the dawn of the social limbo. There's good folks on both sides. A young woman dies as Nazis taking joy rides and marching with fire. Rest in peace, Heather Heyer. So you don't want us to take to the streets, suggest we find ways to protest peacefully, but you didn't take kindly when we took to one knee. In fact, you took to one knee and you placed it on our neck and you held it there for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Try holding your breath, see how far you can get with freedom, the one goal at the end of all this. See freedom and diversity make America great, not ranting and raving of division and hate, not turning our streets into a police state and blaming your successor on what you created and blaming your predecessor for a disease devastating, wielding fear as a weapon to mobilize a base, fear of unknown things that they'll never face, fear of a woman's rights, fear of a race, fear of a future, the changes we'll make, fear of moving forward, fear of evolution, fearful of science, fear this revolution because revolution's coming and it will be televised and you'll have to watch it on Fox with your eyes open wide because the future moves forward. That's the trajectory of time. And your campaign slogan was about looking behind. Your pandemic response was to turn a blind eye, to turn a deaf ear when they speak of the dying. It is what it is, your relief to those crying. You managed to politicize a disease as if COVID-19 cared what you believed in, as we clutched to our chest saying we couldn't breathe. George Floyd, rest in peace. This is the year of short breath, and my 2020 vision sees nothing ahead. America is wounded and inching towards death, but this is our land, so we stand up for it. And if you think patriotism stops at waving the red, white, and blue when the red, white, and blue lights flash behind you, if you're black, then you're scared because there's a black and blue bruise on your mind from the phantom batons that they've used to beat down your soul since you set foot in new sand, from slavery's shackles to the cuffs on your hand. And you vote and you hope and you plot and you plan and you work and you sweat and you live for this land and you do what it takes to make it good as you can, and you'll bend till you break for the sake of your family and speak out against the atrocities you see. And you're willing to die in the streets for beliefs. That's patriotism. Not waving a flag for some misguided vision, rooted in division. America is fading past my recognition, and I love America, just not this rendition. Where the emperor sits naked on his golden throne and we film a mass shooting with a cellular phone and we don't even blink because we're numb to our bones and the cyclone of news is the way the wind blows and we still don't need a weatherman to know. And we may be isolated, but we're never alone. We'll braid our voices in the streets into a beautiful poem. And I look at every face and see a rainbow of tones. I love America, won't let it sink like a stone. And you may yell at me to leave, but this will always be my home.
Oh my, that was probably the most chills I've ever gotten in my life.
It's kind of cold out here.
It is a little cold, but man, I'm just, my breath's taken away by that, man. That was like, oh, whew, all right.
Should we put another log on that fire? Or,
I mean, it was so perfect when you even were saying that something gave you chills, and then I'm like, wow, at that moment I had like the most chills ever. But thank you so much for doing that piece. That's just incredible, man. Like your cadence and your just being in essence is truly special, and we're lucky to have all three of you here today. And it's really cool synergy. I know Tim, you used to live with Al for a while.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right. And you guys have been collaborating a lot. Maybe you guys could talk a little bit about that.
Do you want to take the lead on this?
I was going to say, it's funny that we lived together and we never really like collaborated. It took a pandemic to...
It took a pandemic and I had to move to LA and then we started working together.
Needed to be far apart.
I was like, I miss him.
Well, they say distance makes the heart grow fonder.
That is very true.
I don't know if that's exactly what happened here, but it works. Do you want to talk about how it came to be?
Yeah, so I've got this project called Alfred Howard Writes. I release 2 songs a week, and my mom, who lives in town now, she's a watercolor painter, and she does original artwork for each song. And it's funny, it's actually Shelby, who also lived in that house, and I've done a lot of songs with her. She's a singer for a band I'm in called the Midnight Pine. I guess I'm in it. I don't know if there's bands right now, but I was in it at some point.
She's incredible, man.
She's amazing.
One of my favorite vocalists.
But she was like, have you heard what Tim's been doing with Mara? And I was like, I have not. And she's like, you got to hit them up and do a song with them. And I was like, I will beg Tim to work with me.
Wait, I didn't know it was Shelby.
It was Shelby. Yeah.
The goddess queen.
She's a gateway drug singer, I guess. I don't know.
That sounds good to me.
It was a very serendipitous text that I got from Al because the night before, Mara, up until this point, has primarily, as an artist, been singing a lot of old blues and old jazz songs from the 20s and 30s, very old classic material. And we were having a conversation about how we should use this time to write original songs and have original material. And the next day I got a text from Al that said, I'm working on this project. I'm sending lyrics to people. Are you guys interested? Or he asked, are you interested in doing anything if I send you some lyrics, writing some songs and recording them, and we'll put them out on this project? And I was like, you could not have texted us at a better time.
I said, what did he say? Let me see that text.
But the very first song that came out of it was Dystopian Blues, which has actually stayed relevant for about a year now. So it still feels like everything's kind of spinning in a wrong way, but hopefully correcting itself soon.
We actually played Dystopian Blues on Fox News
Yeah.
last
did.
week.
Which
How
actually ties in with the
dystopian
poem
is
too.
that?
I didn't really catch that before.
The thought in the America.
Did you read I Love America on Fox News too?
I don't know if the funny thing is about that piece is it's got the bait. The first half is all like it's a very nationalist poem.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. That's
So
what
I feel
love
like
about
Fox
it.
would be like, oh, okay, this African American man sees things the way we do, and then bam, I hit him with the dissent, and then change some hearts and minds. But no, they did not.
That would have
let
been
me.
great if you just sent them a snippet of it of just the intro part, and they're
I
like,
think
okay,
their heads
yeah,
might
I would
pop
love
off
if you did that.
on
Well, there's an earlier version of the poem too, right?
Yeah.
Or there's maybe multiple.
Yeah, like 4
versions.
years ago, there's one of you doing it.
So here's the funny thing is, I actually wrote that poem. Let's see, I was at a protest for the Second Gulf War, and I had a poem called Definition of Patriotism that I used to read. And after I read the poem, this guy came up to me who was like protesting the protest, and he's like, man, if you don't like America, you should get the fuck out of this country. And I was like, no, man, like I love this place. That's why I'm here protesting, is like I see a lot of things that I disagree with, you know. And I tried to have this conversation with him in the middle of a protest, and like that's not the place for a conversation. Plus, he wasn't trying to listen to anything I was saying at all. He was just yelling curses at me. Am I allowed to curse? Is that all right? I'm sorry if I did.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
Oh.
Yeah.
be yourself.
Do you feel like that helped you kind of write that or create that intro? Kind of like
That was like
lead
your
into it?
response.
So yeah, I went home and I wrote this piece, and it was initially like about like an anti-war song poem, and I wrote that in response to him, and it was America, and then that was like, I don't know, 12 plus years ago, maybe even longer. And I don't really perform spoken word. Like it's very rare that I do that because I hate it.
You're so good at
doing
it.
it.
You're so good.
No problem.
I can't believe you did this.
But someone asked me if I would do something, if I would do that poem, perform it leading up to the election, and I was like, well, I'd like to, but I should probably like update it. So that was like the first thing I wrote in that style. I'm mostly writing songs these days, but the first thing I wrote like that in a long time.
It's awesome. It's incredible how many songs you write and how many different, like pretty much every amazing artist in San Diego, you're like the lyricist behind, I feel like. And the label, the Redwoods label, it has the most incredible
socks?
the socks, exactly.
Can we get a pan in there?
Can we get
Can we
a
get that
pan?
in that shot? No, but it's just the house band is just incredible, and I'm sure that's been such just a fun way to express your creativity through this community of people.
I feel really fortunate because they're all like, most of the singers and folks I've worked with are like total capable lyricists, but they'll like they trust me to write something for or with them, you know, and it's a pretty good feeling. I feel pretty honored, you know.
Yeah, it's a big thing with a song like because we had Francis Bloom on the show, and he was telling us how he played the tune that you guys did together for Alfred Howard Writes.
Oh, nice.
And he was telling us how, and I can totally tell listening that you listen to people's music and their style and voice and everything and cater the lyrics to that, which I thought was just incredible.
Yeah, I think that's the only way it'll work. You know, otherwise it'll sound like a little disingenuous or something like that, you know. And you could tell if it's like not the right fit, you know.
Totally.
Have you sent something out that you ended up getting back and there was a little resistance before, or has it always been cohesive?
Yeah,
for sure.
you bet. You bet. You bet.
You don't have
For
to
sure.
name names.
But like, no,
But
It wasn't
not-
me.
It was like just maybe like a couple of times or anything. And
Yeah.
usually it's like, I'm like, okay, I like this. It's like a very different direction than like I had heard it, you know? And sometimes I have a tendency to just get like attached to like this idea of a thing, but then usually it's better than my idea. So it works out.
So you guys have got to play Dystopian Blues, promoting the Alfred Howard Writes project on a couple shows, Kelly Clarkson show, I know, and stuff. You guys want to maybe talk
Wild.
about that a little, and then
Well, speaking on listening to references, actually, when Al sent the text, he said, "Oh, cool. What she likes that old stuff. Send me some references." So we sent him a Victoria Spivey tune. And then Dystopian Blues came right back. And I was like, okay, let's do this thing. Yes. Because, you know, I love singing old stuff, but I think there's something really important about reflecting what's going on. I mean, that's an artist's job to reflect the time. And I think Al does that so incredibly well. And to be a part of a project that really deals with the current climate and all things beautiful about humans dealing with this kind of situation that we've never dealt with before in a grand scheme. And then all the issues that have just been bubbling up and not being dealt with. It's just been a beautiful way to communicate in such a thoughtful and artful way. So that's kind of how Dystopian Blues happened. And then Kelly Clarkson was like, hey, I like what you're doing. Let me like it on Facebook on the show. And I was
exactly
like,
what happened.
Kelly Clarkson likes it on Facebook.
Maybe
so I'm
you guys
in.
could, maybe you guys could play it so we could everyone could.
No, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Don't make me sing.
Don't make me sing. 1,
Only for
2.
Kelly.
All right, let's do this thing.
When he's lying to the choir or telling me that the flames I see ain't fire. I'm living through dystopian blues. I wanna cure them, honey. I wanna cure them, honey. I wanna cure them, honey. Cure them, loving you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well,
Such a beautiful song.
Al, how awesome is it getting to work with your mom on this project?
Oh,
You know,
it's
like
it's pretty rad.
all the art that goes along with all the songs are just so unique and so cool.
She's amazing. She's really funny. I've worked I've done the music art thing with her like once before, and I remember we did this album called Big Sur.
I have the book. For
Oh,
sure.
really?
It's amazing.
Okay, yeah. So she did a
Louise
painting
Walker.
Biggest
for.
fan right here.
I'm a fan.
She did a painting for each song on the record. And before she did it, I gave her a bunch of, I think it's Stanley Donwood's art. He does a lot of the Radiohead album covers. And I was like, I was thinking something like this. And my mom was just like, I'm not looking at that. She's like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and you're going to like it or you're not going to like it.
Yes.
And I was like, all right.
That's my kind of gal,
Yes.
honestly.
The
That's my kind of
mentality,
gal.
you know?
So that's how my mom works.
I love it.
But she always like for every song that comes out, she does like 4 or 5 paintings, and she'll be like, all right, here, you pick the one that you think like fits the best. So there's like, so by the end of this, there'll be like 500 or
paintings,
so
yeah.
paintings, that are just like in existence. And then she does artwork like just for herself on top of this. And like, I don't understand her prolificness. It's insane to me. But
Well, the apple doesn't fall far
She
from the
probably
tree.
feels the
Yeah.
same way about
Yeah.
you. She was like,
Yeah.
you're mine.
she's like,
How
really?
did that?
Another song?
Well,
So
you're just
tired.
Did we reach
Yeah.
100 yet?
Are we there yet?
well,
Yeah,
you're
she
just
keeps.
like
She's like, I'm trying to retire. I'm 74 years old.
You're
Like,
working
leave me
me,
alone.
kid.
Wow.
It is amazing. And
It's unreal.
it's amazing for me too, because like I said, I lived with Al for, I don't know, however many years. And I knew your mom was a painter. But now I've gotten to see not just the ones that get actually, I guess, published with the songs, but all of the other like B-roll paintings, and they're all amazing.
They're all amazing.
Yeah,
And they're such phenomenal paintings. And it's such a treat to just have them show up after you work on a song.
Yes.
You find this beautiful piece of artwork that complements it so nicely, just like in your inbox.
Because she
You-
listens to the song. Like, we make the song. Al gives us the lyrics. Tim does amazing arranging and composition and plays a million instruments. And so then we work on the melody and, you know, I sing it. And then this art just comes out of what she's listening to. That's such a beautiful transference of love and art. And just, it's wonderful. It's been so beautiful to be a part of this.
And one of the things I think is so special about the project too is that because there's a time constraint, everything happens so fast and it's so pertinent to what's happening. Like that song came out really quickly. There was art for it. The music felt relevant, and it still feels relevant. But a lot of the songs are like in response to things that happen.
Yes.
And usually those kinds of things don't work very well because it takes so long to take a song from like, here's the idea to like, here's the finished recording. But it's amazing to be able to work in such a way where things can happen so fast and the quality is not diminished.
It's really motivating.
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys
And
have been
inspiring.
working with Mike Butler on a lot of that. Is he doing all your mixing and?
So actually, every song that Tim's done, Tim mixed.
Is that
Nice.
true?
I'm pretty sure.
Like, this means nothing. Tim's a master.
I've definitely mixed a lot of them, but he's mastered a lot. I think he's at least mixed some of them, but our ones I've mixed
You're doing a lot of the mixing.
for our things, not for the other songs.
The whole project.
I've done a good amount of work on other songs that were not written or sung by Mara or myself, but other people's songs that I played some strings on or produced other
Or every
things
instrument
on. Yeah.
Just a one-man band.
And I think that Mike's probably mixed some of those too, but
Mike's done the bulk of the songs that we put out. We're on
an impressive amount of mixing.
68
Wow.
songs as
68.
of today.
Oh my
Dang.
God.
We're in the
You
third
animal.
trimester.
Third trimester.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Well, I
God.
mean,
When
We're
was
trying to bring this
the-
thing to term.
When was the first one? What month was that? Like,
The first one was actually like right after the George Floyd killing. And it was like a direct reference to that. And this song was a direct reference to like the sort of protests and,
Yes.
and riots and
Watching
everything
the
that
world
happened
kind of
afterwards.
try and shift itself.
Yeah, you guys sent me that reference track, and I remember I hopped in the shower and I wrote the song like in my head
Oh
in
my
the
God.
shower, and I was like really in like I needed to take a shower at that point in the day, you know? And I was like, I need
I've
to
been
get
there.
out
Gotta rinse
so
it
I could
out.
like write this down.
Yeah.
And my hands were wet and I couldn't text the words to myself. So I'm like, I have to just like repeat this over and over because I had the whole thing. It was just there,
wow.
you know? And I remembered enough of it, you know, to like get it down. And I'll tell you another funny story that I just thought of is for my mom, for the first like 50 songs, I would text the like MP3 of the song to her. So when she was listening and painting, she doesn't know how to like the phone would shut down after like 30 seconds of listening. So she'd be painting and then she'd have to like
Oh,
I've
do
been
this
there.
for 50 songs that she would listen to like a bunch of times to get like the idea. And I was like, oh, I could email them to her. And then it just like plays the whole thing.
Probably saved her a lot of
A
time.
lot of time, dude.
thanks for working with me, Mom, and
that's-
make this really
That's why there's
difficult
so
for
many
you.
more paintings now for each song.
That's hilarious.
Amazing.
Well, I mean, you guys are all just such unique people just in my life, I guess. Just very, very hardworking and very creative, I guess. You know, Tim, we've been friends for a long time.
That's
and
right.
everything you've gone through musically, just like from mastering sitar to
I wouldn't say that I mastered
maybe
it.
not
That's-
mastering, but just like
that
more
might
than
be a
most
big
people.
word.
He's pretty
just-
good.
You're
He's
just
pretty good.
amazing. And Al, like obviously all the work you do with music and writing, but I think it's so cool that you love to watch birds and you just have a very creative and unique life that you just on your own path. Like, I'm gonna do my thing, and if anyone else wants to be a part of it, they can. And I feel like a lot of people want to. And you have a big community that you've kind of built around just the love of being creative, I guess.
It's mostly for the bird watching. Everyone's in it for
do
the
it for the
birds.
Yeah, we're in it for
Yeah.
birds.
Boys, dirty, stinking boys. Sorry, I'm not
There's a
gonna
lot of
quote
birds
anything.
in North Park hanging out in those trees.
There's some birds.
There's a
there
lot of
trees?
birds. It's true too.
You guys want to maybe play another tune for us?
Sure.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do the next song that came
Yes.
to us
We're kind of going by
Come on.
timeline,
Perfect.
actually.
to an extent. Yeah,
Yeah.
this one it's a bit of a gospel number, which maybe is a little disingenuous, but
It's a tune that feels good, but deals with real things. So anyway, it's called Lord Above. Hit me with that again. Oh, Lord above, are you listening? Are you real? Can you hear me? Lord above, are you listening? I've been praying for all I see. Am I shouting in the shadows? Am I asking for too much? When I see all of this hatred, all I wanted was your love. Are you real? Can you hear me, Lord above? Are you listening? I've been praying for all I see. Shadows, am I asking for too much? When I see all of this hatred, all I wanted was your love. Whoa, 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 Lord above, are you listening? Are you real? Can you hear me? Oh, Lord above, are you listening? I've been praying for all I see.
Beautiful. Your voice is so awesome, man. Damn.
Thank you.
Yeah. that
You
was-
could hear the swamps in that song.
yeah, that was the swampy rendition
That
too.
was a swampy
Yeah.
rendition.
That was a
The
deep cut.
recording isn't quite so swampy as that one.
The recording's like, Lord above, are you listening? Are you real? Can you hear me? Lord above, if you're listening, I've been praying for all I see.
It's that fast too. That's it. We added a lot.
If you don't breathe, you're in trouble. If you don't breathe, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, the kind of music you guys play, this old type style music, it's like that was kind of around when recording music was first starting, right?
Yes.
And I think it's really cool that that Al, you have a big passion for collecting music, right? And you are a record store clerk, have been for a long time. Is there any old records you found in the wild like that, like that old, or like what's some of the coolest ones you've found?
I found this 178. Gosh, I can't remember the lady's name, but it was an acetate, so it was like just maybe like the only copy, or maybe there were like 5 copies at some point. But the woman had a trio with Dave Brubeck at some point, and they never recorded together. And she retired from music. I think she became like an Avon lady at the time, and then recorded an album in San Francisco in the early 90s and then passed away. And then I found this record that was like the only known recording of her from that time period. Whoa. And I don't know who else is like, it's a trio, so it could be Brubeck, it could be anyone else, you know.
Crazy.
And it was in this guy's house who had a weird job dressing up as like a gnome at like some park in La Jolla. I swear to God.
You can't make that
only
shit up.
you, dude. Only you.
And he came across all these
Bro.
78s, and somehow I got a
know
phone
this
call
guy.
about it. You know,
I don't
You're
even
the
know
guy.
you.
You're the guy.
So
we actually, Mara and I just met today. This is the first time we've ever met.
No,
We've
way.
only really talked on the phone.
That's crazy.
The first time we actually like shared live space was on TV.
Yep.
This is the first
true.
time we met too.
This is the first time we met.
Yeah.
But I feel like I know you guys a while, just
We met
because
once
because of the
if you're-
snack here.
If
you know.
you're with Tim, I mean, he's like probably my
If he's
favorite
lucky.
person ever.
What?
I mean,
Sorry.
I can't believe you, Kai.
it just has to be. You have to be the most amazing person. Just
I'm
knowing
okay.
that
I'm
you're
all right.
Tim.
I'm all right.
Good. Your personality is.
I am from
amazing.
Brooklyn, so
Yeah.
you know I have that little edge. Don't start with me. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm really nice until you start with me or you mess with my family. Then we have some
Forget about
problems.
it.
Forget about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So your sound is so, not of this day, and you capture it so well, especially in that last one. And
Thank you.
and you grew up in Brooklyn, you said,
I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, Mill Basin.
and you had
The
some,
deepest cut ever. No bus or train over there. No train. There's a bus, but
yeah.
Don't want to take it.
not
were,
great.
were you listening to a lot of old time music over there and had a lot of
You know,
exposure?
My grandfather was a beautiful singer, and never kind of did it. Never kind of went out. Didn't travel out of the house. His mom didn't let him go on tour, and just this beautiful baritone sound. And I remember him playing Mel Torme records and just singing at family reunions up in the Fallsview, like in the Catskill Mountains. So I have this experience of this like group singing and this man just like bellowing over the crowd, just this beautiful tone. And so I sing for him. I know it's been passed to me. And so it's really important to continue to sing for him. But I kind of found Ella and Billie Holiday and Louis Armstrong in high school. And I also loved theater. And then I guess once I moved back to New York and auditioned for a while and hated my life, I started just singing. And somebody passed me a Victoria Spivey tune, and it literally rocked my world. I'd never heard anyone, let alone a woman on a record, just like sing with such grit and such like honest ferocity and just so to the point, but also so beautiful. And it's like grittiness. And it was like kind of theatrical because she was really just presenting how she felt without like all balls out. She was just like such a boss. And so I said, wow, that's everything I love about singing is like right there. And so I just started listening to her more. And through her, I found Mamie Smith, who was the first Black woman to record in 1924. She recorded Crazy Blues. And so I found Mamie Smith and then I found Bessie Smith and I found Robert Johnson. And so it just kind of like, and because I started singing this music in New York, I really got to connect with these really old cats, really awesome cats, some older, some younger, but dudes that really focused on this music and just loved it and played with the dudes, you know? So they had that like tradition of song and show, which is so very much a part of kind of how I grew as an artist. And so I just couldn't stop. And then I met the people I was supposed to meet. And then I continued to meet those people. And then I got hired to teach blues singing at the Acoustic Blues Workshop, Port Townsend at Centrum. And that's how Tim and I met 3 years ago. We were both teaching artists at a blues festival. And we've been together ever since. So here we are. But yeah, the old stuff. But I also grew up on Lauryn Hill and Erykah Badu and Tribe and,
And you've recorded at Big Tone Records too, right?
I did record at Big Tone Records. And I have a lot of stuff that I'm trying to release this year with them and with some other projects with Clint Davis, who's another incredible artist out of San Diego. Some Al songs are coming out.
Yeah, we actually just showed Al some of the recordings
that he hasn't
of
heard.
these songs that he wrote the lyrics for that we recorded with Big Tone Records.
And Big Tone is an amazing label. This one guy, his name is Big John Atkinson, incredible musician, just for starters, like voice, everything. But then he has the studio and all of his gear is from the 50s. So he has the sound.
At the newest, it's from the 50s.
At the newest, yeah. So you walk into this timepiece, but he's like such a down-to-earth dude,
Yeah.
It's not like a dress-up game where we're like all old-timey. It's just like people that love and really appreciate and honor the old sound. It's the roots of everything. So all the music you like came from the blues, came from, jazz. So...
Absolutely.
This is Black History Month, you guys. This is we are here. We are here. And that music is important.
Representing.
The blues is important. It really reflects a time. And what's so important and kind of lost, because I think this music needs to be heard more, is that these experiences that these beautiful musicians and people sang about and played about are still happening today. So you have to tell the stories so people can really hear them in a way that they connect to. And it's connective tissue, music really just links us. It is the direct reflection of humanity. The blues is humanity, And so it's been really a beautiful journey. And it's been so nice to work with someone that has such an important view on life and the world. To be able to work on original music moving forward is really a dream come true. So that's me.
Absolutely. Such exciting times.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything that's coming out has been so good, and I can't wait to hear the new songs. You guys want to play one more for it?
We have one that's coming out soon, probably in the next week or two.
My mom gets on her shit.
Yeah. As soon as she gets a couple different paintings done for it.
Luckily, she has.
I hope she doesn't have Twitch.
Is it we off? Again.
Yeah, and this one actually we did record at Big Tone Records, and Al wrote the lyrics for, so it kind of ties the whole room together.
It's a love song.
Ooh.
The stars again, looking at the crescent moon, smell the jasmine flowers in bloom as you touch my heart again. There we are again, the rain and snow and wind all but disappear. Whenever you are near, I feel at home again. Love is all we've ever dreamed of. It's ours, but is it ever enough? Hold me close, my love. Tell me what you dream of. Tell me this is real. Tell me how you my love. Oh, blue cardigan, back in your arms again. It had been too long since I felt a love so strong, safe from the storm again. Love is all we've ever dreamed of. It's ours, but is it ever enough? Hold me close, my love. Tell me what you dream of. Tell me this is real. Tell me how you feel. And we won't come undone.
Wow.
Coming soon.
I think
You
I
want to shake on
That
it?
is timeless.
think I floated off to another dimension. there.
Yeah, I went somewhere too. That was beautiful.
Yeah. Incredible, guys.
Thanks, guys.
It's really wonderful to actually play these songs with Al right here.
Yeah, we haven't performed for actual human beings
I
in
know.
a while.
and what a hard
I'm not
time it
even
is
gonna
for
count.
artists everywhere.
Yeah.
What
really
a
is.
really, really hard time it is for artists. You know, there's relief coming in for lots of people, but artists seem to be not on the list. And it's strange because the arts economy contributes $877 billion to our economy at large, but we haven't gotten any support. And so venues are closing and museums are closing. So then the restaurants near the venues are closing. So those people are out of business. So that affects tourism. And then we bring in more than education and transportation, but airlines are getting billions of dollars. And a lot of my friends have had to leave New York because they can't pay their rent, they can't afford food, but we're still considered hobbyists. And
It's insane.
listen, we're an industry, not a cause. And we are hardworking individuals who have dedicated our lives to working on our craft, to provide and to share and to have a livelihood that provides for us so we can keep going. And I've been working with this organization that started with artist friends of mine. Matthew Lee Earlbach, for starters, wrote this incredible letter to Congress that went fucking viral. And they're still, so these four artists are now lobbyists because nobody came to rescue us. So they said, well, we got to do it ourselves. It's called Be an Arts Hero. They're amazing. They're finally getting attention on The Daily Show and CNN. But then, like, you know, Governor Cuomo is like, oh, we're going to do pop-ups in New York City. And we're going to have celebrities do it. And we're going to fly them in. But there are like artists that can't even stay in the city because they can't survive because we're the last ones on the list to get back to work. We are the last ones on the list to get vaccinated. And, you know, places like Birdland are in danger of closing. Smalls Jazz Club. Birdland? Ella Fitzgerald sang at Birdland. Like Charlie Parker, like the roots of our history of music. And these venues that are time-stamped are about to be gone. And then what is New York without music, without culture? What is any city without arts and culture? Tell me.
Amen to that.
So I'm just wondering when the support's going to come in because, like, we, thank God, have a new president
So it was
and there's changes, but, you know,
yeah. Is being an arts hero trying to bridge that gap between
Yes.
politics and art and
Yes,
create a
there needs
space?
to be a secretary of the arts.
Yeah.
There's a secretary for everyone else. There needs to be a secretary of the arts that speaks for us because we are a very important part of this economy.
Every day I'm either reading a book, listening to an album.
Thank you.
know, I need it.
We don't
I need
even
it.
think about it.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
sad.
a part of our everyday vernacular, and yet we are not considered at this moment.
And it's sad that here in America, there's not a lot of support. In other countries, there's so many grants
So
for
much
musicians.
support.
There's
Beautiful.
so much support.
Right.
And
You
But
think we
luckily
would
we
like
have-
take the hint, right?
right. Well, luckily we have people like Al over
I mean,
here who's
yeah,
like,
thank God for
ha-
people like Al.
Right.
Catalyst of America.
I know that. Well, I know the project was a lot driven off just trying to keep people working, right? Keep
Yeah, for
people
sure. Like,
recording.
I don't make money from this project. I would love to, and there could be like a point if there were enough subscribers or whatever that I would, but like I make sure to pay all the musicians who play on the songs
So awesome.
first and foremost, take care of Mike to mix all the songs so they sound as good as they can and that they have the best like chance out in the world, but like all of my friends are musicians, and like none of us have played a gig for like a year,
And we're still just like,
Sad.
okay. And then like, what happens when we get back to work? And it's like, oh, well, we're going to pass the hat for you. Oh, we're going to give you exposure. I'm sorry, but that doesn't put food on my table. That doesn't pay like my student loans for learning and studying this craft that I do well. So what gives?
Right.
You know,
It's not
it's
fair, that's for
terrible.
sure.
And they've never paid us well.
Exactly.
They've never paid us our worth because venues don't have. I mean, nobody has money.
What do you guys?
Some
think
people
about,
have money, but a very small group of people have a lot of money, and the rest of us are just
It'd be
trying to get by.
It'd be nice if there was just a little deviation, just like make sure everyone has what they need,
yes.
healthcare, availability to just good standard of life.
These are novel ideas.
We shouldn't. We just shouldn't have to
Sounds
work
like
this
socialism to
hard.
me.
We shouldn't have to work this hard. It shouldn't be this hard,
I agree.
Yeah.
especially when we provide not only it is an industry, but we
There needs to
provide
be-
joy. We provide connection. We provide a reflection
A
of what's
reason to
going
live.
on. Yes,
Right.
of course. It's a universal language, music.
Mm.
It doesn't matter where you go. You can play music and you will connect with people. And that's the beauty of it. So save us, help us,
Yeah, there needs to be a reevaluation of the arts.
Yeah.
In general.
Anyway, I'm going to step off my soapbox. Be an arts hero.
No,
Follow
no,
them,
this is what
push
it's all
them,
about, just
call your
creating them.
senators. It's really important.
Yeah, thank
Our
you for
voices need to be
sharing
heard.
That.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Amazing.
It's hard out here. For a man.
Yeah.
I feel like the for pimp is implied.
Yeah.
That's why I whisper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prostitution is
covering
being
that song
really
next, right?
hurt
Yeah.
by this.
I'm sorry. That's on video. Cool. Can we edit? We could cut that. Jane, can we cut that?
We cut that live. Thing that happened.
I love it. You guys want?
Pan out on someone.
Al's mom just said he liked that part, so we're gonna keep it in.
Well, if I'm in with Marion, I'm good. I'm good. I'm
You
good.
guys want to grace us with another tune, maybe?
Hell
Sure.
yeah.
What do we have next? What's
Let's do We All Fall Down.
okay.
This is an Al song,
Oh.
and it's called We All Fall Down. We all fall down. We all fall down. We all fall down. Some days we stand back up. We turn around and we will find our way. I lost my path
I lost my path. I lost my path last night. I've got no map, no stars to guide, but I will be all right. The sun won't shine, the sun won't shine, the sun won't shine on me, but I can see. Walk through the dark, I'll be the light I need. This night is long, this night is long, this night's been long for us, but we've got love. You have to trust that we have got enough.
That was tight.
There's this
Beautiful.
funny thing. Like I've never gotten to hear these songs. You know.
Are you emotional,
And-
dude?
Oh, well, it's
I
a
was
trip.
nervous singing next to you, to be honest. Like, I'm shaking in my freaking boots over here. You know what I mean? Freaking nervous over here.
It's a trip because I just like close my eyes and I'm like, man, I find this song so relatable. And then I'm like,
Bro, you wrote this song, bro. You wrote this song.
that's fucking
Yo, this
I
guy's
feel like
funny. He's a comedian,
I like
too.
live
you know
this song.
Does it
you
all.
know?
that? Comedian.
I mean, it's fun for us too, not just that we haven't performed in a while in front of people, but we've never played this song like this.
Ooh,
When we
never.
recorded it, the recording of it is like a barbershop quartet,
Yeah.
except it's
my voice.
It's the Mary Kay Men's Choir.
That's
Well, also what's interesting
It's got,
is
like, the baritone
you can
voice
like
in it.
pitch it down on Luna. Is it what program?
Basically, we recorded her voice and pitched it around so that she sounded like a bunch of dudes.
Well,
And then she
I
sang the
noticed
lead
I
part on
sounded
top.
like my
No.
grandfather, and I like the first time I heard it back, I started to cry because I knew that the transference complete. He was there, and it was just wonderful. And I played it for my mom, and she just cried. She was like, "I can hear him." And, it was
What more
it was
can
a
you
trip.
ask for, Al? That's like
I'm good here.
That's it for tonight. Thank you.
Wow.
Just kidding. I think we
Do
have a
you-
few more minutes.
just out of curiosity. Do you always send a melody or a reference with it, or sometimes is it just kind of?
It's funny. I always send a voice note, and sometimes I like outline a little melody, but like I don't think anyone ever listens to them. I literally just send it for me mostly. Like, oh, that was
Yeah.
fun to sing. And I'm like
Yeah.
not very
I'm a
good.
singer these
you know?
days.
It's fun because sometimes, well, it's happened in a number of different ways. I've listened to some of this, not all of them, but some of them, and sometimes they're based on songs, and he'll say, "This is based on a song. Don't do that."
No.
And
Yeah.
there won't be a voice memo. It'll be like, "This is based on a song. I don't want you to know what it is. Don't do this."
You don't want to lead them to that song. You want
Exactly.
Right.
So like the way that the inspiration is happens is, you know, it can come from many different angles, and it makes it a fun project because sometimes you're listening to something or reading lyrics and they inspire you to go one way, and then you listen to like the voice recording and you're like, oh, this is not how these were imagined in the first place. But I mean, I'm sure that's fun for you.
Oh, it's
too.
great. And I usually just put the voice note in there to more like illustrate sort of where I'm hearing like the rhymes fall and
Yeah,
just
like
certain like
patterns and
rhythmic.
stuff.
Yeah.
a little bit.
You know, and I feel like that's the best way to like convey that. But, you know, that like everything they've sent back, I'm just like, that's amazing. Perfect.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's so, I mean, the best part is that it's so relatable. It really is so relatable. And it's so easy to, certainly as a singer, and like my job is to really communicate on that higher level, because we could all talk. But once you sing, you're saying, this is really important.
Mm.
And so to be able to connect to material that's going on and as a means to heal and to heal others, to say, hey, I get it. We're all here, is beautiful. And to have this opportunity to create at home when we're being asked to safely stay at home, to just stay home. And the more we stay home during this time that they're asking us to stay home, the quicker we can all get back to work, which would be great.
Right. Exactly.
But it's been nice at least to be able to create and to have these beautiful ways, for me and Tim to connect has been so wonderful. And
Absolutely.
And we were just talking or texting or something recently about at some point, hopefully, this will not be permanent and things will go back to normal. But this is working. This is not just a project that is a response to a global health crisis. This is it has, merit that is deeper than that. And so I'm excited to see how it continues through this too.
Is it mainly San Diego based right now, or
No,
global?
it's been folks like one Canadian, so international,
you don't want to have more than one
Heyo.
Canadian?
but mostly folks in the States, but all over East Coast, West
That's awesome.
Coast.
I have a really important question.
you heard that?
Yeah.
I heard that.
Is Joe McNally gonna make it on Al Howard Writes, or has he yet? Or?
I don't think
How do we make that happen?
Well, typically when Tim and I do play and Joe plays, it's Merritt and the McNallys, which really works for me.
I like the
there's a
name.
family band.
There's a
ring to
family
that.
band. Every once in a while, there's a gig where Tim will play guitar, Joe McNally will play the bass, and Nolan Green will play Nolan McNally. Really,
Play drum.
we'll play the drums, and then it's Mara and the McNallys, and the family's in the front, and Finn is dancing, and we're all just like,
Well, for those who
Here's the
don't
family.
know, those who don't know, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your dad, Joe, and your upbringing.
My dad, Joe, is a fantastic musician.
fantastic human.
Fantastic human also. He's also a bass player. I know I'm not holding a bass, but I identify as a bass player often. But he runs a string
giggle. It's so
octet.
good.
He's
You
an
love him.
incredible, talented, eccentric, and I love him dearly.
Well, I guess I got a follow up.
Okay, great.
Next question.
I've seen some photos that were posted, I think, by you. That was a little sneak peek into maybe a project that he was doing,
Oh, he's
or he has a few projects going on.
he's always got many projects.
He has a full green screen studio.
Recently, the project has been he's built a fully functioning green screen studio in Oceanside.
It's pretty cool.
If you're ever lucky enough to be there, you'll notice that there's also many other projects in there also, like, from the cases full of unfinished violin bodies that are going to at some point be built, and music that is going to be written. He's working on, I think, 2 different musicals right now, one that's his own and one's that's someone else's.
There's a full sailboat in there.
Yeah,
I mean, we are
there's-
doing
wow.
it. We when we go to the office, we're doing
there's
it.
actually 2 different boats.
Yep.
One of which he built the whole thing from
You have
scratch.
the green screen, right? So you could
Jeez.
be on water in a flash.
There is
We filmed a
there
video.
is
in
a
the
video
sailboat.
of us playing a song called Sailboat in the Moonlight in the sailboat
Wow.
in the green screen studio.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And Joe McNally is in full green screen attire and a fish head. So there's just in the back of the boat, while we're just like all lovey and singing Sailboat in the Moonlight and Joe McNally, sorry, the bass, is playing, and all you see are hands and a bass and a fish head.
Yes.
I don't know why I haven't released that
Amazing.
video, but it's very special to
Makes
my
you think of
collection.
that's like Chow Mask replica.
It's like award-winning,
very much
honestly.
like that, yes.
Yeah, he's so wonderful.
What about the thing with he wanted to do something with a skate project?
Oh, that's actually a
Oh.
very cool project that I'm going to wait to talk about because I don't want to steal it.
Okay. let's hold on that.
Because that's going to be
Heard.
really cool, and I'm really excited to see where that goes, and you guys don't get to see it yet.
Bum,
I guess
bum,
the point is that
bum.
you guys have all had such awesome upbringings and parents or grandparents that have really pushed you and inspired you to sort of do what you're doing. And I think
That's
that's
true.
really just lucky, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I myself feel very blessed for the same, and I'm sure everyone here, because we're all here doing something fun. So
I'm grateful.
I mean,
awesome.
I would say you are the people you surround yourself with are also a reflection of who you are. And I think that
Correct.
everyone who is here is lucky to be here with each other.
right.
You
I
know?
just need a pocket of Tim quotes always.
Oh
Ready
my
to
God.
go. Just be like, all right,
I'm
that's what I
so
need to
tired.
say.
I can't collect them all.
I wasn't
Gotta
sure if I was going to pull that one off.
That one was
I got
good.
like halfway through and I was like, how do I finish this?
No, I would have to say,
say.
I know I keep like giving so much love to Tim. Sorry.
That's okay, but
Should we
we're
leave you
gonna talk
alone?
about this after because
You're gonna
know,
have beef with me.
Well, I told you where I'm from. You know. That's all.
But basically, I would say that you're just like my favorite conversationalist.
Really?
Anytime I see you or see you hear you listening to you talk to anyone, I'm like, Tim,
Aw.
everything you say is very, not only sounds extremely smart because your vocabulary is huge, but it's like very meaningful. Every word is like, and I appreciate that. And I think with Al as well, I haven't known you very long, but like just your lyrics and your conversating that we've had is the same, and it's just rare, I guess. There's always a lot of like blabbering. Most people.
I would say that actually our relationship for the time that we lived together was mostly just conversations that we had in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's true.
And I would say that they were meaningful conversations.
Every last one of them.
I enjoyed them all.
Kitchen talk.
But
You
thank
can
you.
imagine how lucky I feel getting to spend every day with them.
Oh, I know.
That's nice. Well, we were long distance for 2 years,
Wow.
just traveling back and forth and playing gigs in our respective states together. Moscow, we were supposed to leave for Moscow literally the day the world shut down.
Damn.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
And play like a long, nice 10-day stretch of gigs. And I was supposed to fly back to New York and probably move out here in November. But the universe was like, no, you stay here, girl. And I was like, thank you. But no, thank you.
Well, now you guys get to make so much beautiful music together,
Yeah.
and it's a big blessing.
I wanted to
Super
hear the
blessing.
Moscow influenced record though.
It's
When's that
really,
coming?
I mean,
It's yeah.
quite a band. Our friend Konstantin Gavandian is an immense trumpet player. And actually, the first time we went out there and played was a year ago.
I actually got this jacket out there.
Yep.
And it was not a year ago because
Oh, because it's been a
So
year.
last year didn't count.
when the
What am I
ended.
thinking?
Yeah, it
Okay,
was a
so
year
2
from a
years
year
ago.
ago.
Yeah,
2
right.
years ago. And I actually
Moscow
I
Russian
realized
age.
that on the plane, I turned to Tim on this 10-hour flight to Moscow and said, hey, so this trumpet player that's bringing, I haven't listened to the band. I don't know if they're good, but we're going. Like on the plane, so we couldn't turn around. And we got there and it was unbelievable. Like this unbelievable jazz band that he had put together for this little visit. And it was life-changing. And then it was supposed to happen again.
It was
It
really
will.
interesting too because Russia is not a place that most people I know visit. I don't
Yeah.
know very many people that have been there. Well, actually, I know more people. There were a lot of people that had been there that I had no idea they had been there.
Mhm.
But people don't usually talk about it. It's kind of difficult to get a visa comparatively. Like going to Mexico is really easy, but going to Moscow is like
It was a
it's a long
deal.
flight.
It was a project.
So there were a lot of like apprehensive responses when you're like, "Oh, we're going to Moscow." People are like, "Whoa, crazy!" and,
What?
and
Like,
and they're
why?
oh, is that safe?
What?
you know,
Why?
They're squinting a little bit. Like,
yeah,
what are you
yeah.
really
People
doing?
were really kind of
Ma'am, sir, are you good? What's wrong with you?
kind of like uncertain that it was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ever really worried about it, but we got there, and I've never been treated so well.
Oh my God.
Mm.
I felt,
Anywhere.
honestly, I felt famous. there.
Anywhere in the world. The people, every person that we interacted with was so caring for us and so generous with us. It was absolutely amazing.
I also noticed that being out and playing out, that the audience is so present with you and so responsive, and it's such a shared experience. Like they've come to experience this music and this experience at large. And it was really kind of hard going right back to New York after that, because New York in many ways I guess at that time, I think things will be very different when things open up again, but so oversaturated and everyone's on their phones and people are like there, but they're not really there for the music, but they'll like look at you for a song or they'll like put you on the Instagram with a phone in your face, but then there's not, the purpose of singing live is to connect. It's not just for me to be like, look at me. It's literally so I can connect with who I'm singing to. And it was so beautiful to have that and to experience what that feels like because it hadn't been like that for a while. So I hope the revolution, you know, I hope the renaissance comes and we can all just really enjoy and live fully and celebrate
And go to
together.
Russia.
And go to Moscow, yeah.
It's safe.
I'm sure there's a barn.
I hope they're doing okay. I really hope they're doing okay.
Sounds great.
I send my friends love over there. I hope they're doing okay.
Yeah.
It's good to hear because I feel like you never know. It's always, you always hear things on the media or from
my
people. And when you get there, it's always a whole completely different
Arts
story.
and culture is alive there. It's like it's so important to them.
Do you guys have a song that you like wrote there or is inspired by Russia?
No, but I did sing the New York blues there a lot. No real Moscow tunes per se. We kind of played the old stuff, the old jammies.
But we got other songs.
Yeah, we got probably one that we sang there. You know.
That's your song. That's your song.
Whatever.
Love is only a game. When you lose in life, it's no one but yourself to blame. Maybe you're alone and blue. Someone is searching for you. Love is just funny that way. Still I'm in love again. Can't you realize that it's still you again? That's why my love for you must never end. I'll never make you blue as long as I have you. Deep down in my heart and soul, I'm so in love again. Can't you see that it's still you again? I'll be by you like an old-fashioned friend. I will love you from the start until the end. Please don't ever make me sigh. Honest, I would never make you cry. Why should I take your heart and soul and your love just for the pleasure and cast it away? When I need you night and day, I'm so in love again. Can't you realize that it's still you again? That's why my love for you will always be true. I'll never make you blue as long as I have you. Please don't ever make me sigh. Honest, 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 I would never make you cry. Why should I take your heart and soul and your love just for the pleasure, then cast it away? When I need you night and day, I'm so in love again. Can't you realize that it's still you again? That's why my love for you must never end. I'll never make you blue as long as I have you. That's from my heart and in my soul.
Yeah. Awesome. So good, guys.
That's a Lonnie Johnson tune. It's called In Love Again.
Love again.
For those of you who don't know Lonnie Johnson, listen to him.
Get hip.
He's a teacher.
Awesome.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
Back to what you were saying about how important music is. You know, that's just like everything felt right and felt relaxed and felt filled with love and joy.
I'm
was
glad. That's my goal.
So nice.
I'm so happy. That's all I want, really. I just want people to feel good. I want people to feel comfortable. And I want them to feel joy
I
and
feel all those.
connection.
That's what it's all about.
I'm so glad.
So awesome.
How'd you feel, Al? During
Oh,
that?
I'm in like another world. That was
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's like coming out of a sauna,
Yeah.
you know? Feel that?
All hot,
Right.
a little sweaty, and
Lots
calm.
of
Yeah,
naked
super
men.
sweady.
No,
Oh, that
I'm
was-
watching
I guess
you
that
two.
was
I'm
just
watching
that.
you two. I see you because you. Okay, you know what? Watch yourself. Watch yourself.
That must have just
Okay?
been me, I guess.
I'm real. I'm real fucking nice, but watch yourself.
we have a sauna date
Yeah.
tomorrow, I think.
Our sauna's open now?
Going to my
you couldn't pay me to go into a sauna. You could like literally couldn't pay me. I probably will never do Bikram again. Sorry.
Ooh, yeah.
Al, I got a question for you. Are you going to release the voice memo
Oh wow.
ensemble as like an album?
Wow.
Just that? Like,
Oh no, man! No one needs to hear me singing other than like very, very, very tight circle.
I feel like
We're VIPs. girl.
Coveted.
the rawness of it, though, just to see the progression, or maybe even just as like a,
It's that when you were talking about your high school band and you were like, we were raw,
yeah,
you know? It's like that kind of raw.
that kind of raw.
You know,
Oh my
not like
God.
Iggy Pop and the Stooges, just like
Yeah.
Like
Like a
raw,
child
dude,
learning
like
how to speak.
raw.
What about like once festivals become a thing again, having like have you thought about like having everybody who's participated on the album kind of do a big
I would love to at least like do one show that's like a real showcase for it, you know? And even some of the
Yeah.
people that couldn't make it, maybe someone could do like an interpretation of that song.
mm,
That'd be awesome.
Or, I mean, there's 100 songs, so no one wants to see like a 7-hour concert. So maybe I'll just narrow it down to the best
Yeah.
songs and try to
Yeah.
do something, you know?
Might have to.
couple
But
days,
yeah, I would
maybe
love
a couple
to.
day event.
Yeah.
Actually, one thing that I've getting back to your question, one thing that I've enjoyed about the project too is that you do see a progression of how songs get developed in an interesting way. Because, for instance, there's a song that we're working on now. Al wrote the lyrics, sent them to Daniel Schreier, and he wrote this song. And we've been working on it, but in the process of working on it, we've changed the key, we've changed the feel of it, and I think by the time Dan Schreier hears it,
They're like, what
gonna
is
be,
this?
it's very clearly the same song.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
wrote it.
Do we still have to give him like a percentage of it? Or is that...
But
We're friends on Instagram now,
But
so
the-
I don't
keep
think
business
he
in the sauna.
He knows.
the difference between the recording that he sent, which is great, and the recording that we're ultimately going to make, and we'll see if he likes it, is very profound. And so it's cool to see how one idea or something that starts with just like, you know, one idea, which is the lyrics, can turn into so many different things, and the process by which that metamorphosis happens. And then you ultimately reach a point where you're like, well, this thing needs to go out into the world now. But then it's not done, because like the songs that we've recorded, the way that we performed them tonight, with the exception of Dystopian Blues, we've
Have all
never
been
performed
different.
them
Yeah.
like that before.
Yeah.
They're also different than how the recordings
So
sound.
lucky, dude.
Which is so nice.
And that's
Always
a
evolving.
very
His vocabulary really is extensive.
it's a very special
Impressive.
part about music making in general, but also about that this project actually kind of like reconnects us with,
collaborative. Yeah.
because you see how different people interpret the music and how important that is. So
Yeah, sometimes I do put out like, because with the whole site, there's like a subscription part where I'll send out a short story with each song. Sometimes they'll give a little bit of insight as to like what some of the background of the lyrics were. You know, sometimes it's just a story about what was going on that week. And then every once in a while, I will put out like one of the voice notes, or like I wanted to show sort of like the progression of a song. Because this started out before it became like an official Alfred Howard writes, and I got a website and everything like that. It was just like quarantine boredom. I was like challenged myself to write a lyric or a song every day. and then just invite people to do interpretations via Facebook, you know? So I put them out there, and then like some people would do songs, and you could just see how it would evolve from like that little lyric idea with a little bit of melody, or just me like speaking them like the poem I started the thing with, and then just seeing what would come back, you know? And some of them were great and some of them weren't. And the ones that weren't made me want to retire from music forever, you know? But then like I'd get a good one, and I was like, all right, there's something here. And then after I did it for 30 days, or 30 days. And I was like, there's something like to this idea, but I want to like refine it, maybe curate it a little bit more. Maybe this is a chance to like, suppose just like an open invite, like reach out to people who I've like always wanted to work with. And I hit up some people like, there's this guy named Brad Barr. He's in a band called the Barr Brothers. And like they're, you know, I don't know if famous is a word, but like a pretty reputable band. And like we have one mutual friend, and like I just hit him up. Like a lot of us are just home now. You know, there's no shows. We have downtime for the first time in our lives for some of us, you know?
Right.
And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll do a song. Why not? I was like, really? And that was like one of the first ones I put out. And I was like, oh, this thing just might work, you know?
So cool. Like, so cool. Especially, I mean, that's kind of how this Barn Time show came about, and why we're able to get people to come on too, because everyone wants to do something.
Yeah.
Like, what? We can come on and play?
Yeah.
And it's that's so cool, man. The project is such a big picture thing, you know. It's really, I think, gonna inspire people all around the world to do something similar, maybe.
Yeah,
Exercise that.
a lot of it is just like figuring out, you know, like artists, we create, we adapt,
Yeah.
you know, and like the world throws this set of circumstances that takes away like all normalcy to us. And we're just like, all right, well, this is what we're going to do.
Right.
And it's been cool just being online and seeing how other people have come up with creative ideas to like get it out there, because we have to. That's like what we do, you know.
Right.
You can't stop that force. So
Totally.
Yeah.
Unstoppable.
And you're going total multi-genre, right? There's no like
No,
restrictions
yeah.
to this project. It's
all over the place.
no strings
Is
attached.
there anyone you reached out to who didn't want to do
Oh,
it?
I'd go hunting with an Uzi, man. I'd just shut
Yeah,
up
you're
the
hitting up,
forest.
like,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
So you're hitting
Oh
up
my
like
God.
I hit up all kinds of people, man.
That guy and sipping puddles. He got
Yeah.
a tuna.
The funny thing is, like, I've hit up a lot of random people on Instagram where like I'm always like a little wary, where I'm like, man, if I got this message, I'd be like, who the fuck is this guy? You know, like this guy, like some weirdos, he like stalking me, you know. Hey, you want to be a star, you know? Like, but like,
Hey, kid, I got
offer
the
you
tricks.
money, but I can ask you to do
Yeah.
this.
And I got Fruit Loops for
Yeah.
sale.
all kinds of Fruit Loops.
Check it out.
But
See, I brought that back around. So
good job.
yeah.
that was impressive.
But yeah, like every once in a while, like
Please.
someone will get back, and I've done some songs with people like I've never met them. You know what I mean? We're Instagram friends, and that's that, you know? And then, but a lot of people are like, they leave me on red, you know, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I would, cause like I have to remind myself constantly, like, that's most likely what I would have done, you know? So,
and you want, I mean, the more people you reach out to, the more of those no's, the more of the yeses you're going to get. You know?
and then the funny thing is, it's made me conscious of like, when I get hit up by like random folks, to like make sure I respond,
That's awesome.
you know, because why not?
Yeah. That's
know?
what you would want.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll write back and I'll be like, dude, fuck off. I'm just kidding.
Well, thank you. Thank
Like
you
funny
guys.
smile emoji.
Thank you guys seriously so much for coming and being a part of this, and sharing your talents and speaking about it. I don't know if there's anything that you guys want to talk about that we haven't gotten to touch on yet, or
I think we've talked.
I'm grateful to
thanks
be
for
here.
being so professional and making a safe space. And
Is that what you call this? Professional?
yeah, yeah, I know it's in that mug. Yeah, but you know, just making sure that everything was safe, and I appreciate that very much, because I wouldn't have left the house if I didn't think you guys were holding it down the right way. So thank
that
you.
means a lot.
That means a lot too.
Yeah.
Can I plug the website? Am I allowed to do that?
Oh, yeah.
my
It's-
God.
Yeah.
That was a real funny thing. So
Subscription.
Plug it in.
Do it
earlier
all.
this year, well, you mentioned the Kelly Clarkson show.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I actually I didn't know who Kelly Clarkson was
Ah,
until
what?
we got.
First winner of American Idol? What the hell? I'm
Was
sorry.
she the first?
Just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm
she
just
was
kidding.
the first.
I do love her though. She's great.
I read the Wikipedia, and the funny thing is, like, I live with my
I know that
girlfriend,
now.
and she's got 2 little kids, and so I'm like, oh, she's the voice in Trolls too.
Oh.
She's the country troll.
What?
Like, so that's how, like,
Oh,
the
That's how
most
you
prolific Kelly
Okay.
Clarkson role is
She was
country
the
troll
country
in
troll.
Trolls
I
too.
love it.
Yeah, sings a great song. It's great.
No idea.
Unbelievable.
So my mom and I went on the Kelly Clarkson show, and it's funny because I've never done like a national TV show or anything like that. And before, they did like a week before the show, they did an interview. They asked me and my mom like a bunch of questions, right? So then the day of the show, we met up like an hour earlier, and they're like, here's the 3 questions we're going to ask you, and here are your answers. So what they do is they took like the interview that I don't know if I'm supposed to be like revealing the magician's secrets, you know?
revealed.
But like they took the interview that we did, the long interview, and they took all of our words and created answers out of them for us to answer these like 3 questions. And I like understand it because like in this day and age, you can't just let someone on national
You
TV
just don't know.
and they might just be like, dude, so this QAnon thing's going on, and and they just start
Oh
saying
my
some crazy
God.
shit,
Can you
you know?
imagine? Nightmare. It was a nightmare.
So actually, I got an email the night before, and they were like, "All right, here are like the answers to your questions," and they're like, "Please read these over and shit." And I was like, "All right." So I forwarded it to my mom,
I didn't ask
and
questions.
neither of us like did our homework. We were just like, "This is probably like a framework, and we just can kind of riff around this,
Oh
you
my
know."
Uh-huh.
So we get in there and we do like this pre-interview.
I honestly panicked right now.
And the lady's like, the lady asks us a question, and she asked my mom a question, and my mom answers, and she's like, well, you missed that one part, like where you say, doing this project's brought you closer to your son than you've ever been. We really need you to hit that mark. And my mom's like, I'm not any closer to my son than I was before. And I was like,
Oh my God.
and she got all like indignant, and I was like, Mom, for this 30-minute period, we gotta play this game. You know, like we're about
You
to
gotta
go
like
on
me
like
a lot right
national
now.
TV
Right
show,
now.
you know?
Right, yeah.
And I was
What a
like,
plug.
oh,
my
man, there's
God.
like
Very
nowhere,
funny.
there's nowhere in our answers where I get to say AlfredHowardWrites.com, which I'm like, that's like the whole point of being on the show is to be able to say AlfredHowardWrites.com, you know? And I was like,
What is it?
shit.
What did you
It was Alfred Howard Writes, WRITES.com.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And your
Not
mom,
like I have rights or anything like that, because this is 2021. It
Yeah,
hasn't changed
we're
that much
different.
yet.
This is America.
and your mom said she was like, I loved him then, but after AlfredHowardWrites.com, I loved him way more.
I saw his work on AlfredHowardWrites.com and I was blown away. I
Oh,
said, how
man.
can I get involved?
Now that I can see him through Alfred Howard Wright, I have the opportunity to be closer to my son.
Did you guys
This
get
is the
that? It's
greatest plug
AlfredHowardWrites.com.
So
.com, if
it was,
anyone. Okay.
it was really funny because so I asked like the lady who's like kind of running the show, I'm like, hey, can I say the website? And she's like, we'll have to ask like the manager, the showrunner
What?
about
What?
that. And I was like, fuck. Because like I'm like, that's really important. So then I'm like stressing out about that. And I'm like, do I try to like fit that in underhandedly or will they cut me off or something like that? What happens, you know?
You just got to
So-
change your name to lastname.com.
Oh yeah, my name is AlfredHowardWrites.com. So we do 3 interviews to make sure like we have our answers like dialed in, and then they let us on the show, and then they're like, well, Kelly might like riff a little bit since you're a musician. She might ask you this, might ask you that, and so Kelly was super cool because she was like, so if I wanted to get one of these paintings,
Yes.
like where would I go?
Nice.
And I was like, oh. Thank
Kelly, you queen.
God, dude.
You got us some song.
So I'm gonna go home
you
and
just
watch
belt it
Trolls
out at
2.
that point?
I'm like so hyped on you right now.
AlfredHowardWrites.com.
And then I was like, because I'm just like an anxious person. I'm like, oh, what if I like say it wrong? Like, so yeah, you go to Al Howard Writes. Oh God, it's over. Our segment's over.
Wait,
You know?
what's my website?
Oh man, but I think I answered all the questions like at least remotely coherently, and yeah.
Played the game.
Perfect.
Nice.
That's
Nailed it.
Well, I'm glad that you could get the plug on our show.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for letting me mention it like 37 times.
No, I mean, everyone watching out there live and whoever tuning in later, make sure you check it out. The subscription is well worth it. That's what's going to keep this project going and keep everybody making their music.
That's right.
Yeah, we're looking
Thanks.
forward to subscribing. That's for sure.
I know. I'm like,
And
shit, I feel so
buying the
bad that I
albums when they
haven't
come out.
subscribed to it. I'm like, shit.
That's
But
right.
anyways,
Do you guys have place where music lives on the webs? currently?
Well, I am these are my confessions. I have 7 projects that I've literally been sitting on for 10 years. Like also with the Al project and the Big Tone stuff that happened within this 2 years, I guess 2 years ago, and our little stint. What is the word?
Stint.
Oh yeah, our little
Tim
stint
has the best words.
Good word.
This is why I keep him around. In
Good.
Virginia, while we were driving across the country in my van to move me out of New York and then drive immediately back. Anyway, my goal this year is to put that music out. So marakaye.com, MARAKAYE.com for now, and then the things will be out and you will find them.
we're looking forward to
Awesome.
that.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's going to be awesome. You guys-
Otherwise, the Alfred Howard writes songs are what's out right now.
That is what's out, and I'm very proud
Exclusive.
to be out with them
So you can go to
Take 'em to
alfredhowardwrites.com.
lunch in my
It's the
house.
first-
and
the
then
first
follow the
Marakaye.
marakaye.com link at the bottom of the page.
It'll be there.
I
Well, it's
don't
cool.
have
That's
anything
the
on my
first,
website. You don't have
First
to go there.
Marakaye music out.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, maybe you guys could take us out with another tune.
Sure. This is one of my favorite tunes by one of my favorite singers from back in the day, Sister Rosetta Tharpe. And it's called Strange Things Happen Every Day. Because they do. Please sing along safely if you want to. You can sing every day with me. Anyway, hit it.
Oh, we hear church people say they are in this holy way. There are strange things happening every day. On that last man judgment day, when they drive him all away, there are strange things happening every day. Oh, every day.
Every day.
Oh, every day.
Every day.
Oh, there are strange things happening every day.
Every day.
Oh, every day.
Every day.
Oh, every day. There are strange things happening every day. If you want to view the climb, you must learn to quit your line. There are strange things happening every day. If you hew right from the line, you can live right all the time. There are strange things happening every day. Well, now every day.
Every day.
Oh, every day.
Every day.
Oh, there are strange things happening every day.
Every day.
Oh, every day.
Every day.
Oh, every day.
one, let's do it. Oh, every day. You could sing at home too.
Every day.
Oh, every day.
Every day.
Oh, there are strange things happening every day.
Every day.
Oh, every day.
Every day.
Oh, every day, day. There are strange things happening every day. And I'm Mary Kaye.
Mary Kaye, Tim McNally, Al Howard.
Don't go there.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
This has been an honor and a pleasure, and episode 12 in the books.
Barn Time Podcast.
Until next time.
Dreamed of. It's out.